Jackie from the Marengo-Union Library here for another Fun Friday. Our Fun Friday activities today are going to be about candy and gum and fun things like that, yummy things like that. So the first experiment we're going to do is with Skittles. Okay, so these are some Skittles, some hot water, some cold water, some milk, and some carbonated water. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to lay our Skittles out on a plate. Now, I've done 3 plates already. I thought maybe you'd want to help me with this 4th one. I'll put some Skittles on here, and I'm going to arrange them around the edges of the plate. Okay. So do you like Skittles, huh? They're kind of hard. You first bite into them, and then you bite into them, and they're really chewy, aren't they? Yes. Did you ever notice that when you bite into them, chew them, it changes your color of your tongue? Yeah, so your tongue could be green or orange or purple or something like that, right? Just a couple more. Oops. All right, so maybe it wasn't a couple, maybe it was more than a couple. Here we go. All right. Okay. Let me put this purple one between these 2 orange ones so you can see the effect. And we're going to see what happens when we add these 4 different liquids to our candy, and we'll see what's going to happen to the Skittles, okay? Okay, so which one of these liquids do you think is going to cause the coating off the Skittles to come off the fastest? So we have the cold water, the hot water, the carbonated water, and we have the milk. All right, so let's start with the cold water. We're going to put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see. Let's count how many squirts we do rather than drops. So that's 1, 2, and that's our 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so that was the cold water. Now let's try the hot water. 1, oops, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now look at that. Even though I did the cold water first, the hot water is already taking the coating off of the Skittles, isn't it? See, it's very pretty, isn't it, both of them? Okay, now let's try the carbonated water, okay? Remember how many squirts we're going to do? We're going to do 10, right? So everything's equal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, well, it's starting to come off, isn't it? Let's try the milk now, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Look at this, I'm making bubbles in my milk, huh? Do you have little bubbles in your milk? 10, all right. Okay, so now we're going to see how the progress, how it's making. Okay, so then we can see the carbonated water is taking the shell of the candy off. Okay, but ooh, look at the hot water. The hot water, yes, look at that. It has made quite the design. And the cold water, Again, it's very pretty, but it's not happening as fast as the hot water, even though we did the cold water first, right? And the milk isn't doing anything, is it? The carbonated bubbly water is starting to. All right, well, we're going to wait a few more minutes or a couple more minutes to see what happens with the milk. And while that's happening, I'm going to explain to you the science behind the different liquids, okay? So the real chemistry behind how and why. Water dissolves the sugar coating on the candy and carries the colors with it. See, we can see that, right? It's carrying those colors and making a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful rainbow. Candies can stain our hands because our sweat is mostly water and dissolves the sugar, just like the water does in the experiment. The hot water works better than cold water because of solubility. The way a substance dissolves normally increases as temperature of the liquid increases. Milk does not release the colors as well because the fats in milk block the water from dissolving the colors. The combination of chemistry and your own personal creativity in arranging the candy in different shapes and patterns around the plate produced art. While all artists use chemistry in some form, many painters mix their own paints to obtain unique colors for their creations. So what do you think about this? Okay, the milk is starting to now. Okay. And the cold water. So can you see what pretty patterns that's making? All right, so now let's add some more cold water. There we go. So all the candies are touched, and because before we want to use the same amount of liquids for all of them so that we were able to comparing the exact same. And here's the hot water. Okay. And sparkly water. And you see how the colors are drawing to the middle? See? Oh, the milk is starting to work, but not as fast, right? Okay, so next to eating Skittles, you can have some fun. You can see what different colors your tongue turns. And the reason why your tongue will turn different colors is because of saliva in your mouth, right? So the next thing we're going to do is I've got 3 clear jars here, and I've got cold water in all of these. I'll put cold water in that one. So it's just cold water, just like from the tap, you know, from the sink. Then I'm going to mix some baking soda in the water. So I'm going to use 1 teaspoon of baking soda in each of my containers. In the video, I'll put down the proportions just so you know. It calls for 1 tablespoon of water and 1 teaspoon of baking soda, but since I put a little bit extra water in there, so you can see more of a reaction, I'm going to double the recipe. Okay. All right. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some Skittles, some more Skittles, some sour candy here. Come on my plate here. And I also have a piece of candy cane too. So we're going to compare the difference between sour candy and candy that's not sour, like maybe a candy cane. And I've got one more candy. I've got also one more candy. Someplace, my jelly beans, all right? Now these aren't the spicy jelly beans. These are the regular flavored jelly beans. So let's see what happens, okay? So this container here, I'm gonna put the jelly beans in there. Okay? All right, so again, I'm assuming or thinking that that is not sour candy. Now the Skittles, those are pretty sour, aren't they? So I'm going to put those in the middle one. Stir that up. Ooh, look, see? The color's starting to come off, isn't it? With the sour ones. But the jelly beans, the color's not coming off, is it? All right, now let's try the candy cane. And let's see what happens. Okay, so this is the candy cane. And we'll swish that one around too. Okay, so we'll check back in a few minutes about to see what the reaction is between the different kinds of candy and baking soda and water, and we'll find out why that happened, why it reacts the way it does. All right, so let's see what's happening with our sour chemistry now. All right, we took the baking soda and the jelly beans and the water. Nothing's really happening, is it? Okay. How about with the Skittles? Look at that. The Skittles, all the colors have come off, haven't they? Can you see that? Yeah, oops. It's onto my table now. See? Okay, and then for the candy cane, the color's coming off a little of that one. I can take that out and show that to you. See? It's actually getting it's getting smaller, but the colors really aren't coming off. It's just kind of melting in that baking soda and water solution. Now the Skittles are still the same size, but they all look white now, don't they? You can hardly tell what the original colors were. And for the jelly beans are the same size as they were before, and the color hasn't changed either, has it? So why do you think that is? Why do you think the difference between the candy makes a difference with the reaction to the baking soda and the water, huh? What do you think the reason for that is? Let me tell you. Okay. Citric acid makes sour candy sour. Okay, remember citric acid was something we talked about actually a couple of weeks ago when we talked about money and the tomatoes and the ketchup and the citric acid in tomatoes, right? Okay, well this doesn't involve tomatoes, but we've heard the word citric acid before, right? So citric acid makes sour candy sour. We have evidence for this since we observed a reaction of sour candy with a base. Now the base was our baking soda. Okay, our baking soda and water. That was our base. We did not observe a similar reaction when we added the non-sour candy to the baking soda and water, did we? Nope, we tried two different kinds of candy. We tried the candy cane and we tried the jelly beans, but there wasn't a reaction, was there? The chemical reaction between the citric acid and the baking soda base made carbon dioxide gas. The formation of a gas is one of the observations that chemists use to see if a chemical reaction occurred. So you can try maybe different sour candies that you have at home. We're using Skittles today. Let's see, I'm trying to think what else. Maybe the crybaby candies. Those are pretty sour, right? You can think of maybe different other candies you can try and just see what happens. And I suppose if you really wanted to know whether or not that candy you were going to try was sour or not, I guess you could do the baking soda and water test. But another way to use that would be your tongue. Your tongue can tell whether or not things are sour or maybe tart. You can kind of like squeeze up your face. What else? What are the flavors, or what other sensations do we have with our tongue? We have sour. How about salty, right? Your tongue has different parts that can tell what things are sour and salty and tart and spicy, right? Next project here, I'm not going to demonstrate for you because I think it might be kind of gross, but you can try it. What you want to do is you want to take a piece of gum and I want you to chew it up, okay? But don't swallow it. And then you notice the chewing gum will last probably as long as you have it in your mouth until you decide to spit it out, right? Well, what happens after you put the piece of gum in your mouth and you've chewed it up And then you have some chocolate, okay? You have a piece of chocolate and you chew that up too, okay? So you're chewing the gum and the chocolate at the same time. What happens to that gum? Is that gum still going to be there maybe in 10 minutes? Probably not. What happens? The chocolate dissolves with the gum and you end up by swallowing it. Also, I'm not so sure how that would taste either, but so you can try that again. I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to like spit out gum and let you see that because it's kind of gross, but this might be something that you could try that would be fun. I just have to caution you, don't do this too much because you'll get a sick tummy, because eating a lot of gum it's not good for your tummy. And the chocolate, the mixture, whatever, yeah, you might get an upset tummy. Thank you so much for joining me today for another Fun Friday. It's been fun. All right, take care. We'll see you next time, okay? Bye.